You're slowly erasing yourself, and you've named this act love, loyalty, or character. But from a clear-eyed view, it is none of these things. It's you undermining your own foundation, disguised as a moral duty. A chilling aspect of our nature exists that most refuse to acknowledge. A principle the strategic thinker, Niccolò Machiavelli, impressed upon leaders centuries ago. Society often buries this lesson. Not all can be rescued, and crucially, not all wish to be. Some individuals aren't seeking a lifeline. They're searching for dead weight. Extend your hand and they won't climb. They'll pull you under, using your strength to stay afloat as you sink into their turmoil. You'll recognize them. Maybe you're sacrificing for one right now. The perpetually struggling friend. The partner who depletes your spirit. The relative consuming your resources and repaying you with bitterness. You attempt to mend them. You believe sufficient love and sacrifice will spark change. Machiavelli would offer a stark truth. A man who insists on constant goodness will be destroyed among those who are not. Empathy without limits isn't strength. It's a vulnerability that takers, users, and the stubbornly blind will exploit until you're an empty vessel. Today, we're removing the diseased tissue of misplaced obligation. We'll identify the 6 kinds of people you must never attempt to rescue. This isn't cruelty. It's strategic survival. It's about safeguarding your resources for those truly worthy. If you're exhausted from giving everything for pain in return, listen. This may be the most critical insight for your life. Once you perceive this truth, the comfortable illusion of ignorance shatters forever. Before naming these 6 archetypes, grasp the mechanics of the rescuer's trap. Why do you rush into a fire the other person lit? You've been conditioned to link your value to your usefulness. You measure virtue by the suffering you endure for others. You feel saying no is a betrayal. Machiavelli saw this as strategic suicide. Energy, power, and time are finite. Pouring them into a void doesn't just waste them. It actively bankrolls your own downfall. Imagine a vessel with limited space and supplies. If you welcome everyone aboard, the ill, the unstable, the saboteurs, the ship doesn't become a sanctuary. It founders, drowning all, including you and the innocent. To preserve the voyage, you must be decisive about who earns a place. This is strategic detachment. Sometimes the most compassionate act is to let someone find the bottom, for only there do delusions break. Only there are they forced to rise or remain. Saving them steals their necessary lesson. You disrupt cause and effect. So who are they? The first is often the most deceptive. Type 1, the chaos sculptor. This person is a vortex of perpetual misfortune. Machiavelli cautioned against aligning with the unfortunate, not from superstition, but pattern recognition. Some aren't prey to fate. They're engineers of their own collapse. You know them. Each conversation brings a new disaster. Lost job, broken car, betrayal, eviction. It's a draining torrent of crisis. Initially, your compassion flows. You intervene with money, advice, connections. Briefly, things stabilize. Then chaos returns. The job you secured, lost because the manager was unfair. The loan, gone to another emergency. Listen, misfortune is catching. This isn't mysticism, it's behavioral. The chronically unlucky lack foresight, discipline, and self-accountability. They act impulsively, ignore warnings, alienate allies, and think carelessly. The trap? They never own the outcome. The world is always at fault. Tying your fortunes to a sinking ship invites its chaos into your life. You become collateral damage. I've watched capable people lose reputation, wealth, and peace trying to stabilize someone. addicted to instability. You cannot repair a person who is enthralled by the drama of their downfall. Chaos earns them attention. Chaos excuses them from effort. If they're always the casualty, they never have to be the cause. Stop being their shield. Let the storm reach them. Let them feel the cold. Only that discomfort can motivate them to build shelter. Shielding them enables their incompetence, and eventually, their disaster becomes yours. Guard your peace. Misfortune spreads through proximity. Isolate yourself from the architect of chaos. Type 2, the endless void. This one is particularly painful. This person requests your aid, consumes it, and then harbors resentment for it. Machiavelli wrote extensively on gratitude's fleeting nature. The ungrateful suffer from a malignant entitlement. They don't see your kindness as a gift, but as a toll you owe. Observe the sequence. First help. Effusive thanks. You feel valued. The hook is set. Second request. Less hesitation. Third, expectation. If you pause, they grow irritated. I thought you were supportive. This is the endless void. No amount given will fill them, for the void isn't a lack of things, but a lack of core character. Helping this way creates a toxic dynamic. You become the benefactor, they the dependent. And human nature secretly despises those we rely upon. Dependence breeds contempt. They take your energy, your time, and quietly hone a blade for your back. Notice how those you've aided most often gossip worst about you in your absence. Machiavelli would advise, if you must assist, do so without creating perpetual reliance. Or if you scent entitlement, decline entirely. How to identify them? Test with a minor no. A healthy person respects your boundary. The endless void reacts with anger, guilt, or icy withdrawal. They punish you for turning off the tap. If you see this, disengage swiftly. You cannot rescue someone convinced the universe owes them a living. You'll pour your essence into them, and they'll gaze back emptily asking, is that all? Do not offer treasures to those who will trample them, then turn on you. Type 3, the grinning Underminer. Now we go deeper. The first two drain via incapacity, or entitlement. This third drains via concealed malice. Machiavelli understood envy as the most corrosive force in any sphere. The grinning Underminer is often your longtime friend or peer. You evolved. You succeeded. They stagnated. They cannot bear it. But they're clever. They don't oppose you openly. Open foes are simple. They hide the dagger behind a smile. They aim to save you from your own ambition. Listen to their language when you share news. A promotion? Congrats. But those hours will destroy your health. You met someone. Be careful. You always get hurt. Hear the subtle venom, the masked concern. They dress envy in the cloth of protection, planting doubt to lower you to their level. Machiavelli noted men are so obedient to immediate needs that a deceiver always finds the willingly deceived. The envious want to save you from success because your victory mirrors their stagnation. If you try to elevate them, they will, consciously or not, sabotage the climb. They'll generate drama before your big moment, offer poor counsel, leak your secrets. They don't desire your triumph. You cannot cure the envious. Envy consumes its host. The sole strategy is the rule of concealment. Mask your gains. Veil your plans. Machiavelli counseled silence. Don't supply the ammunition of your joy. Around them, be mundane. Be struggling. How's work? Oh, the usual grind. Feed the narrative they crave and share true victories only with those who genuinely celebrate you. Trying to fix their insecurity with your compassion is embracing a live grenade. They'll demolish the bridge you're building just to watch the fall. Never reveal your next move. Never expose your true strength. Pause. Breathe. I know this is weighty. Faces, names, flash in your mind. Guilt whispers, but they need me. I can help. Silence that voice. That voice is not wisdom, it's arrogance. The belief you can override human nature. You are not a deity. You are a being with a limited charge. Plugging into pain-driven machines leads to spiritual, mental, and physical decay. Stress erodes. Betrayal wounds. 3 types remain, and these manipulate your deepest vulnerabilities. They leave the most severe scars. Prepare to go further. Type 4, the professional sufferer. We encounter the most cunning figure in the human woods. They approach not with a blade, but on their knees. The professional sufferer. Machiavelli knew power manifests as fear or pity. Tyrants use fear. The weak wield pity. Pity bypasses logic, targeting emotion directly. Distinguish true victims from professionals. A genuine victim desires escape from pain. A professional seeks to cultivate it. They curate their trauma like a crown, demanding you kneel before they're hurt. They arm their fragility. I can't, I'm too anxious. You're harming me by asking for accountability. If you attempt to save them, you enter an unwinnable game. For saving them would erase their identity. Improvement removes their excuse. Strength ends the attention their weakness guarantees. So they resist your solutions. Offer a ladder, their arms are weak. Offer a rope, it chafes. Try to pull them up. They go limp, becoming dead weight. Machiavelli warned, building on others' pity is building on sand. But you, the rescuer, build on a swamp. Each rescue validates their helplessness. Teaching them brokenness is currency. You pay them to remain unwell. And the darkest turn, the instant you stop, the instant you say, I can't carry you, the lamb transforms into a wolf. The professional sufferer will turn on you with shocking ferocity. They'll paint you as the villain, accuse you of abandonment, rewrite history to frame your exhaustion as cruelty. They require an antagonist for their story. By auditioning as hero, you've secured the villain role for when you inevitably fail. Don't play this part. Compassion for a professional sufferer isn't love. It's self-punishment and a denial of their own agency. Let them fall. Let them confront the emptiness alone. Only when the audience departs does the actor cease the performance. Type 5, the smugly ignorant. This enemy of growth and sanity is the arrogant fool. This isn't mere lack of knowledge. That can be fixed. This is a refusal to know. They're enamored with their own view, even as it ruins them. Machiavelli's rule: a leader who isn't wise cannot be counseled wisely. You see them repeat errors, toxic partners, foolish investments, unwinnable conflicts. With clear sight, you rush to warn, stop, the cliff is there. Their response? Not thanks, but scorn. Debate. They insist the sky is green. Why exhaust yourself? You cannot use logic to extract someone from a position they adopted without logic. The arrogant fool doesn't want truth. They want affirmation. Offering truth feels like an ego assault. By trying to save them from ignorance, you become their enemy, the embodiment of the reality they deny. They'll attack, label you condescending, mock your insight, dragging you into circular debates that drain your soul. And the cruel twist, when they finally fall, and they will, they won't learn. They'll blame the cliff, the weather, you for distracting them. Cease trying to instruct those with no wish to learn. It's arrogance to think you can force wisdom into a sealed mind. Machiavelli's colder method: silence. Let reality instruct. Reality is a ruthless teacher that doesn't argue. It delivers results. When the arrogant fool speaks, don't correct. Nod. Say, fascinating. Then step away. Observe the impact from a distance. Protect your sharp mind. Don't blunt it on stone. Reserve your insight for those who ask, who have the humility to say, I don't know. Guide me. Leave the arrogant fool to the world's mercy, the only force potent enough to crack their shell. Type 6. The predatory pattern. The final type breaks the most loyal hearts. The history repeater. The scorpion. Recall the fable. A scorpion pleading with a frog for a river crossing promises not to sting. Midway, it stings. As they sink, the frog asks why. The scorpion replies, it's my nature. Some people have betrayal as their nature. This is the person you've forgiven endlessly. They cheat, you forgive. They steal, you forgive. They lie, you forgive. Why? Because they weep. Promise change? Swear this is the last time. You want to believe in redemption? To be the saint who saved the sinner. But Machiavelli warned, men do not change their essence. Behavior reveals patterns. Character is pattern. The strongest forecast to future action is past action. Saving the scorpion from its sting's consequences doesn't aid evolution. It corrupts the data. It teaches them they can harm and still survive. You train them to hurt you. Each return costs a piece of your self-regard, and they respect you less for it. How can they value someone who values themselves so little? They see forgiveness not as mercy, but as license. They took me back after X. They'll take me back after Y. You search for their light, ignoring the shadow devouring them. Machiavelli advised rulers to distrust those who betrayed others, for they will inevitably betray you. Loyalty is a practiced habit. Betrayal is a practiced habit. Facing a repeater demands the hardest action. Complete severance. No gradual fade. No distant friendship. Cut it off utterly. It will feel like removing a limb, but that limb is gangrenous. Keeping it poisons the heart. The scorpion cannot be saved, only avoided. Accept their nature. Believe them the first time they reveal themselves. Stop assigning your conscience to a predator. Now you see them, the six mass of consumption, the chaotic, the entitled, the envious, the sufferer, the arrogant, the predator. You see them in your contacts, at your table. A weight descends. For to walk this path means making choices that will paint you as cold in the eyes of the naive. You'll be called selfish, Machiavellian, good. Wear those labels as armor for what they name selfishness. The wise name self-preservation. What they call cold, the wise call clarity. You must evolve from savior to sovereign. A savior burns himself to warm others. A sovereign builds a lighthouse. He stands firm, shines a light, but does not leap into the waves. Those wishing rescue will swim toward the glow. Those choosing to drown will do so in the dark, but the lighthouse remains. This is the ultimate lesson. You are not steward of others' souls. You are captain of your own vessel. When you cease trying to save the unsalvageable, a shift occurs. Your energy returns. Time expands. Anxiety fades. Finances steady. Health restores. You construct an empire of inner peace. And from that peace, you gain the capacity to aid the few who merit it. Those who act on advice, return loyalty, grow when nurtured. That is true power. Not the endurance of suffering, but the choice of who deserves your light. Machiavelli wrote, everyone sees what you seem to be, few perceive what you are. Let the world see a serene surface. Let them think what they will. But inwardly, Know you've mastered the hardest discipline, the art of release. Yet be cautious. As you remove these people, as you ascend in quiet power, you'll face a final, most perilous foe. With the parasites gone, you'll stand alone in the room. You'll look into the mirror. You may realize the person you were striving to save all along was a reflection of the unhealed parts within yourself. What if the weakness isn't only out there? What if it's inside you? That is a shadow for another day. If this has shifted your perspective, understand this is only what can be shared openly. Deeper explorations into strategic psychology exist that cannot be fully detailed here on YouTube. The most potent frameworks are often restricted by the platform. If you're still here, you're different. If this resonated, please like this video. It truly supports the channel Mind Verity. But if you seek what remains hidden, if you wish to step into the architect's circle, explore the path offered, you'll access exclusive, unfiltered content, diving into the deepest layers of the psyche. Most won't. That is precisely the point.